So I'm going to cop out a little bit and do the Morlock instructional video. Here is a Morlock board. See that it's hooked up. I have a reset switch and the OLED hooked up, all steadied with camera. The USB connector is already connected. I actually have it plugged in off screen. That way I can turn it off and on without continually connecting and disconnecting it. So I disconnected it now, reconnecting. You'll see it boot up. Now, basic tutorial on the software. Turns on, trigger fires it, we're good. You see I've got lights hooked up in place of the solenoids. The red switch is hooked up to the sleep port, which is a way of turning it on and off. When it's off, it consumes very, very little power. So you can turn on and off with the button. You can also turn it back on with the trigger. If you hit the trigger, it comes back on. To enter programming mode, once the board is off, hold the trigger down and don't let go. It will come up in programming mode. This works if you turn the board on or if you just hold the trigger down while it's running. You can see all the different registers that you can choose from. So let's say you wanted to change the fire mode. That's the first one. You just stop selecting, click the one that you want. As soon as you stop selecting for more than a couple of seconds, it assumes that you're entering that mode. So auto response, there you go, in auto response mode. See, push fire, push release. If you push and hold long enough, it won't fire a second shot. It does have a timeout. Now to enter programming mode again, just hold the trigger down. I know that's going to fire a paintball, but you hold the trigger down, it will enter programming mode after that little thing. Let's say you wanted to change something a little bit more interesting, like the dwell of your first solenoid. Okay, select whether you want to add, subtract, or set it exactly. So we want to plus, we'll add to the 10 milliseconds. Let's add, I don't know, 2 milliseconds. Current value is 12, back at register menu. It lets you choose another, it assumes you're going to be programming more than one. So let's add another little 0.1 to the fire rate. So now it fires at 10.1 balls per second. Hold the trigger down at any time to abort programming and go into fire mode. Just hold it down is your escape. This works at any time in any menu. Just hold the trigger down at any time, whatever you're doing, it will cancel and go back to either the programming menu or firing the gun. That's the basics of trigger programming.